So in this entire series of videos that I'm doing, it's also in a playlist and you can check that out, but it's a co-angler playlist designed to help you guys with your first event, with tackle bag planning, with where to cast, all these kinds of things that you need to know prior to going into your first ever or your next season of being a co-angler. So if you haven't done so, please check those out. Let's get into the video. Alrighty y'all, Lou here from Beyond the Bounds. This is a channel geared towards bass fishing gear reviews, tournament footage, tips and tricks. So if you like that sort of thing, hit that subscribe button down below. Let's get into today's topic, which is talking about my tackle bag breakdown for a co-angler. Alright guys, there's not going to be one way to configure your tackle bag in a sense that it is absolutely perfect, that you know, it works in every situation. You've got every single bait that you ever need. Unless there are certain presentations that you always fish, you've always fished the same waters, you know exactly what'll work there. You know, I've gone all the way from fishing Okeechobee to fishing Thousand Island, St. Lawrence River up in New York. And it varies drastically between the rods, the reels, the line, the baits and presentations you need. So everything is always different and can always be changing. Unless you're fishing basically the same waters every single time, then you can probably, you know, set and forget your tackle bag. Somebody asked me to do this video and I said, hey, that's a pretty good idea. So I will go over kind of what I keep in my tackle bag, but also kind of how I organize my co-angler tackle bag. And this is not to say that, again, that I do everything perfect. This is just kind of what I did, and it would change between tournaments, but towards the end, it really got to where I found a way that I kind of liked it. So let's get into that. First and foremost, this is a fairly inexpensive tackle bag by Bass Pro Shops. I think it's around $40 or less, depending on when you find it and where you find it. But you know, I did a whole video just about this bag, and it has held up flawlessly throughout the year. Throughout 2 years of fishing. There's not a single tear, not a single rip, broken zipper, anything like that. If I had to go and buy another bag, I might buy kind of the Ego fishing tackle bag. I like a lot of the Ego products. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I don't care. I will tell you what I like, whether I'm sponsored by them or not. Hopefully, as you can see here, it's got a bottom section down there for some 3,600 boxes, and this is where I would keep a lot of my hard baits, my jigs, stuff like that. And even with that, you can see that there's some space up in the top there. And guys, if you can't get it done kind of with these 3 tackle boxes, you're not going to ever be able to bring enough. And the more tackle you bring, again, that might tick some boaters off. Guys, some of these guys you get in the boats with, you just never know. You know, if they can find one little thing to kind of put that blame off on you, they just might. They're a cantankerous group of people at times. And, you know, I wish it wasn't so, but you know what? Every time you get into a stranger's boat, that's the situation you could run into. Enough about that. Let's continue on with this tackle bag. Because I don't want to scare you away from being a co-angler. It can be a lot of fun and it can be a great learning experience, but you also need to be mentally and physically prepared for being a co-angler. Another thing that I started doing towards the end of the year, especially as I got dialed in as a co-angler, I was able to practice and go out there with somebody and practice for a good time. 1 week, maybe even 2 weeks, depending on the location. What I ended up doing was using this front pouch right here for my soft plastics. I would just take every single soft plastic that I think would work, so forth. I'd have them kind of color coordinated and style of baits coordinated. So I'd be like, my creature baits, my missile baits, D-bombs, they're gonna be right there in the back. I know exactly where to go get them. My Senkos, my Yamamotos, they're gonna be right up there at the front. I know exactly where to go get them. So I knew where they were positioned at in this pouch. And you can stack this pouch full of a ton of soft plastics. Always gonna run into the situation where you're like, you know, I've got this whole boat that I'm sitting on to manage and hold the amount of tackle that I always have with me, and I've got to pare it down into this. That stinks. I think with this bag, you hold just the right amount. You're not overdoing it. Another thing that you can do with this is, you know, take this for instance. This has all my chatterbaits in it. This has my chatterbaits, my chatterbait trailers that I use. You can pare this down so that you don't have every single chatterbait you own under the sun, but you also have it in a nice compact situation to where you can do this with spinnerbaits. So you can have a spinnerbait, chatterbait, different variations in there. You know whether it's going to be a standard colors, but you need to have variations of weights. And maybe even trailers to go in there. So that's what I would do with that. And like I said, you had this extra space that comes along with this area up here that you could just kind of slide that into. And now you'll see that by doing that, I'll show you at the one camera right there, it slid around a little bit, but and I'll hold it up for you to see on the other camera that, you know, you've got another little space in there. So you can really pack a lot into this small profile of bag. So if you wanted to maybe split up your spinnerbaits and chatterbaits, do that with these little guys, these little bait binders. Again, Bass Pro Shop brand. I'm lucky that I live near a Bass Pro Shop, so I can go there and get a lot of these things. Moving on, this front pouch of this is kind of like a mesh pouch. Right here you'll see, and I would always do different kinds of things with this. For instance, Thousand Islands, I wanted to keep all my different weights, you know, my 3/8, ½ ounce, all that kind of different things. I wanted to keep them in one location because I was breaking them off a lot. I needed a ton of weights. It helped being able to come in here, you know, but different hooks and stuff. I wanted to have those readily available. I knew I was going to be drop shotting. There was not a lot of thought to that part. So I wanted to be able to come in here, find them, pull out a hook that I needed. All the hooks were basically the same size. Pull out a sinker that I needed. And just have them there. And I didn't feel like putting them in their own box, separating them out or anything. I just had them in there like that. But you can use that kind of front pouch for any kind of thing. I think my fizzing needle is up in that front portion as well. I'd keep my fizzing needle there or in this bigger pouch with this mesh that it has inside of there. You can also see I have a crap kit. I always take one of those with me. That's TP right there. Simple, nice and easy, but you always have it in your bag. I keep those on my boat as well. That company actually sent me those and I really like them. But as you can see, I've got all the tackle stuff pretty much taken care of with just the way that I've done this. You know, again, I've got jigs, chatterbaits, everything you can think of in these 3600 series right there. Let me zip this up so this stuff doesn't fall out while I'm moving this around. And thus far, guys, I haven't even touched on this upper top portion of this, which can be filled with a ton of different things. But let me go over to kind of the side compartments, what I'd keep there. This is where I keep a lot of necessities for the water, like one of the mistakes I made in 2018, not having all the licenses I needed, because as a co-angler, you may go into a different part of that body of water, like Champlain, and you would absolutely need a Vermont license. Now you can buy your Vermont license and fish both the Vermont side, the inland sea, and New York, please don't quote me on that, with one license. Or you could buy the New York, and then you'd need the Vermont side as well to fish the inland sea. Didn't know that my first year. Didn't know where I was really going. Not like I had control of the boat. Extra fishing line in here. This is kind of a big spool kind of to have in this side pocket, but you can see that it will fit in there. Sunscreen, please protect yourself out there. Gloves, throwing those in the boat. A Gerber, pliers. I mean, your guy should have these on the boat. You'll probably be able to use his, but it's always nice to have your own. Comes with a belt loop. You can put it on your belt and use it if you want to look cool. Yeah, but that's what I would keep in here. I mean, hey, maybe if you've got scents and attractants, you can use those. Put your scuppernog worms over there and your bang as well. I'd always carry my own line snips. Didn't want to rely on the boater to have good snips. A lot of the time they don't. So, you know, have these. You can always keep them in the pocket if you're wearing kind of cargo pants or something, which I've said in other videos that, hey, you know, you could have multiple presentations of different colors of baits, maybe a weighted Cinco, maybe an unweighted Cinco, different colors of those in your pockets to ready to change out and throw in a minute's time. But, you know, having your own little snips definitely helped me from having to go down into the boat, go back. I could just do my stuff back there. I'd have it to where it would come out of the bag. I mean, you could attach this to the bag so you always know where it's at. And that way, when you're in the back, you've got your hatch open, you're working on your stuff. This is laying flat in there, you know, bam, right here to my soft plastics on top. Open this straight up. If this is laying straight up in the back locker there, you can access the things that you need to that are straight straight down, and then close the locker back on top of that. Just some things to think about. I would kind of reserve this area for me for like my cameras and stuff. But no, as a YouTuber, you know, I'd have my Chesty in here. I wouldn't necessarily wear it down to the ramp on the day of. Maybe this could go in there if need be, but a lot of the time I would hook this onto the side of my bag. Important for a co-angler to have some type of eye and face protection, because a lot of the time you don't have a console and you're getting hit by the full front. You're getting a full frontal of cold wind, bugs, all kinds of stuff. So having this, I mean, I've had this entire face shield covered with bugs before. Worth the investment, whether you just own a boat or you're a co-angler. But other things I'd have in there, you know, cold weather gear will go in there. Trusty Bass Geek hoodie. Everybody loves seeing this thing. I don't know why I hate that guy. I don't know why I even have his clothing here. Hank's an awesome guy, guys. I have no problem supporting other awesome YouTubers out there. Here's another thing that I would do sometimes. Maybe take a little bag of soft plastics. That would fit kind of in the bottom. It just all depends on what the weather was doing, what the fishing was doing. You know, I'd maybe take this is a kayak bag right here. I'd take this along with me too, to just carry things I didn't want to get wet, maybe drop my wallet or something in there, my phone in there, things that I cared about that I didn't want to get wet, could roll that up, it'd stay dry. It's a dry bag, thank you. Thank you for that, who was thinking that. You helped me out there. I'd use night eyes too. Night eyes would be things that I would hook onto the sides of the bag right here, put my coal tags around this so that I could use them or not use them like I did in my one tournament. This again would be able to hang my save face off of there real quick and easy. Bam, done. You can see how fast that is. It's like a cowboy rope there. Guys, that's just a real quick dirty look at how I managed my tackle on the boat. Towards the end of the year, I started carrying my my Cal Coast terminal tackle box. I could carry that whole thing in there. You know, it just it made managing the terminal tackle and not having to take every single thing out and put it in a box, because I absolutely couldn't stand that, guys. Again, I got a whole boat that helps me with maintaining my tackle normally, and it's hard to pare it down into something like this, but you can absolutely get it down to something like this. And if you're normally a co-angler, you know, then having a good tackle bag, good tackle management system is key for the type of fishing, whether you're doing bait fishing or you're hopping on the back of somebody else's boat. So guys, I hope this gives you some ideas on how I managed my tackle as a co-angler. Any comments, questions, drop those down in the section below and I'll take a look at them, and if I can answer it, I'll definitely give you an answer. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all have a good one.